Okay, hello everybody. Good ano na ba? Good afternoon, good evening, 6:00 na pala. Good evening everyone. Welcome to our free webinar for this month of May. At meron May. Ano ba 'yan? Ang bilis. For this month of February at meron po tayong guest speaker. Naging guest speaker na din po natin siya before. And his name is AJ De Leon. Siya po ay isang real estate virtual assistant at ang kanyang expertise is transaction coordinator. So habang naghihintay tayo ng mga magjo-join sa ating live, nasa backstage lang din ang ating guest speaker at wala pa naman tayong mga viewer nito. AJ, tingnan mo nga kung naka-live nga ba tayo ng maayos sa Facebook o hindi. Okay, nakikita mo? Okay, perfect, perfect. Ayan. Kapag nandito na kayo and you're watching, say say happy ano ba ngayon, Tuesday? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Say happy Tuesday. Kapag excited na ang lahat. Lahat, 5 viewers pa lang. Ayan. Mamaya papapasukin na natin si AJ. Siya ay nasa backstage pa. Ang shala, may backstage tayo dito sa StreamYard. Gusto ko nga bumili sana ng paid version nitong StreamYard na 'to, pero sobrang mahal. Ayan, happy Tuesday, guys. Thank you for your comment. So yeah, what we are going to discuss for today is how to position yourself as an expert in your freelance niche. Ayan. Kasi syempre, mahirap nang makapaghanap ng client ngayon. Kailangan nagsa-stand out ka sa iyong expertise, especially kung katulad ko, executive assistant or real estate VA, katulad ng ating guest speaker. You have to make sure that you will stand out para ikaw yung laging napipili ng mga clients. And yun yung ituturo ni AJ ngayon. Kasi si AJ ay nagsa-stand out sa kanyang expertise na isang real estate virtual assistant with another specialty under that is yung pagiging transaction coordinator. Yan. So yan ang ituturo ni AJ sa atin for today. So we still have 7 minutes before we welcome our guest speaker. Sino sa inyo dito na nasa audience is currently a freelancer na or a virtual assistant? Meron na ba tayo ditong mga virtual assistant? Say, yes, I am a VA. Ang haba nun, no? Sabihin nyo lang, yes, I'm a VA. Ganon. Pag nakaganitong live ako, lagi ko nagagaya si Jam Blauta sa mga ano niya, sa mga pakulo niya na lagi niya mga sinasabi. Well, sa kanya naman talaga ako natuto na kung paano mag-live webinar. Yes, I'm a VA. I want to learn how to start to be a VA. Ayan, we have mga experience, meron na ring mga gusto pa lang mag-start. Ayan. So this is quite advanced yung pag-uusapan natin today kasi ay Ladi, Mami Lads, you're here. Kasi nga 'di ba this is about expertise na or your niche kung paano ka magsa-stand out. But still this is very important to learn kahit na wala pa tayong experience as a virtual assistant or we're trying this out. Ayan, Mami Ladi, magkikita tayo later. Are you excited? Inaayos ko ngayon yung mga questions, Mami Lads. I am fixing the questions and I'm so excited to see you. Ayan, we have 5 more minutes. Can you PM me? Yes, you can, pero I cannot promise that I will reply immediately. Dahil marami pong nagpi-PM sa atin, so talagang natatambakan. But yeah, you can go and PM me, and then when I get to your questions, to your questions, then go for it. Kaso yun lang, please don't expect na maka-reply ako agad. I have so many things that I'm doing. First time po and no experience. Yes, yes, go. First time and no experience is kayang-kaya pa rin maging VA niyan. Ako din, wala po akong experience sa pagiging VA. Kahit yung guest natin ngayon, wala rin siyang experience sa pagiging VA. Before siya naging virtual assistant. Ang experience po niya ay isa po siyang call center agent, and then nagsimula, before siya maging call center agent, siya po ay nagtrabaho sa McDonald's. Tama ba? Hindi naman Jollibee, ano, McDo. Yes, sa McDo. Siya po ay server at saka minsan siya po si McDo. Pag may parties. Ayan. Kaya ano, kahit wala po tayong experience, basta pag-aaralan natin kung paano ba talaga maging isang virtual assistant at gustong-gusto natin maging VA, kayang-kaya natin yan. Perfect. Hello, Kel. Kel, magkita tayo sa ano ha? Sa Cebu. Tsaka sa Bohol. I'm interested to learn from today. Yes, I am very, very excited then for everybody to learn from today. We have 3 more minutes and then we will welcome our guest speaker. Nagre-ready lang siya. Gusto ko mag-avail ng EAVA assistant module nyo. Pero meron pong internship. Alam mo, that's a very nice question. No, wala po siyang internship, but it is in the works. So I'm currently designing longer training, and this will be a hybrid training na, meaning self-paced with, tapos may modules na may instructor, and then may internship, and then everything. So I'm designing it, super busy lang right now. And then soon enough, I'm going to launch that new phase of Executive Virtual Assistant Philippines. Supply chain and logistics VA here. Wow! No experience before and mag 1 year na akong VA this year. Oh, congratulations! Halos sabay din pala tayo. Ang anniversary ko din sa pagiging virtual assistant is April, May, ganyan. Kapag supply chain and logistics, was that your experience before? Kung hindi man VA, at least you have experience in supply chain and logistics before? Wala. Medyo may delay lang nga. Okay. Anywho, ayan, we still have 2 more minutes. Let us already welcome AJ. Are you ready? Are you prepared? Yes, perfect. So let us all welcome our guest speaker for today. He is going to talk about how to position yourself as an expert in your freelance niche. He was already a guest speaker in our community a few months back, where he talked about how to be a successful, or how to start your VA career as a real estate agent, specifically as a transaction coordinator. He has been a virtual assistant since 2020, no, AJ? 2020 or 2021? 2020. So he's been a VA since 2020. Prior to being a virtual assistant, wala po siyang experience sa pagiging VA. Ang experience po niya ay sa call center as well as sa McDonald's. So that means na whatever experience that you have, it should not stop you if gusto niyo talagang i-pursue yung pagiging isang freelancer or virtual assistant. So let's all give a great welcome, a warm welcome to our guest speaker and a very good friend of mine, Mr. AJ Tycoon VA De Leon.
Grabe.
Hello.
Buong-buo yung yung handle ko with my last name. Ayan. Welcome everyone sa aming webinar. So ayan, medyo may bahid pa ako ng medyo
Ng ulam.
ubo. Alam naman natin na pagpasok ng January, agad, 'di ba? sakit agad
Trabaho
ang
kaagad.
dapo sa ating mga Pilipino. Well, anyways, thank you so much, Mia, for that
Yep,
very warm welcome
of course.
introduction sa akin. And good morning. Good
Good morning.
morning. Good evening, everyone. So, nasa, ano kasi yung, ano natin time zone? Eastern time zone,
Got it.
yes. Charet.
Eastern.
So, anyway, marami tayong kasama ngayon. If you're there, press 5. Ayan. Press 5 if nasa, ano kayo, live namin kayo ni Mia Juan. Ayan. Wala pa ako nakikita nagpe-press 5. Hindi nyo alam ang number 5. Ayan, para lang kayong tumatawag sa customer service. Ayan, press 5 if nandito kayo. Ayan, parang, ayan, andyan na si Greg, si Christine. Ayan, meron tayong manonood from Saudi Arabia. Ayan, Charing, hindi ko alam kung ano yung pangalan mo, kaya taga Saudi Arabia ka, ate ko. So, ayan, welcome everyone. So, kanina marami tayong nakitang virtual assistant na rin at nakakatuwa na marami na tayo dito, no? So, nakita
Yes.
ko rin si Mami Ladi. Ayan, si Mami Ladi, isa yan sa mga OG na freelancer virtual assistant na kilala namin. Ayan. So, ayan, meron madami-dami na tayo. So, I hope na excited ang lahat sa ating pag-uusapan ngayong araw. Ano ba, mag-English ba ako o magtatagalog ako, Mia, or combine?
Siguro combine naman na, but we do
Okay.
have some people from different parts of the world. I believe if you are someone who doesn't know how to speak Tagalog, please say English only. Pero we're going to do this Taglish just like what I mentioned. But if you want to learn, this will be posted on our YouTube channel with transcriptions or translation.
All
So
right.
yeah, but we will do this Taglish.
All right, perfect. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this webinar. I know that the topic is kind of advanced, but I do believe that if you're going to know this topic or you're going to position yourself as an expert in your freelance niche, if you are trying to specialize, therefore, this will be a game changer on your freelancing career or freelancing journey. Because as we notice, as we try to delve or as we try to step in freelancing industry, the competition is really high as of this moment. Even us, experienced freelancer or virtual assistant, we're having a hard time to get a client. So when I talk to Mia and we're talking about this type of webinar, I just think for a topic that would really help everyone to land on a client, because I think that's one of the biggest dilemma of aspiring virtual assistant or freelancer, to land on a client. They know the tools, they have the skills, but they don't know how to land on a specific client. Sometimes we just have to make sure that we're trying to position yourself as an expert or someone who's really into for example into real estate, into finance, in order for you to build credibility to the client, because that's what we need to make sure that we're trying to build credibility with the client. And this is how you do it. You need to position yourself as an expert in your freelance niche. So of course, we were going to discuss different, bullet points in here that will gonna help us to position ourselves as an expert in our freelance niche, right? And our call to action, of course, is to make sure that we're going to apply all of these bullet points, because this topic will gonna be nonsense if all of us will not apply this bullet points. So I made sure that this bullet points are some of my best practices. At the same time, it is effective, it is working this 2025. Let's live on the do not live on the traditional way on how you're going to present yourself to the public. Okay, we have to be, we have to learn new ways, right? We have to learn new process in order for us to outshine other people in freelancing industry. So if you guys ready, I'm really really excited. Let's discuss first. Let me just navigate. Okay. So what does it mean to be an expert in your freelance niche? So this question is really hard to answer, right? If you're going to answer it on your own. But meaning to say, being an expert, that doesn't mean that you are really, really, really good about it. What I'm trying to say is, the maybe at least the back and forth of it, if in case mawalan ka ng client, right? For example, you are on a real estate filled, right? Then, for some reason, your client needs someone, I need a laid off. So you're part of the laid off. So you lost that client, okay? So if you're an expert on your niche, you should not be like someone na parang takot na takot at hindi alam yung gagawin, right? What you're going to do if you're an expert is you're going to, instead of being like focusing on the reaction on a specific situation, you're going to be someone that will like be proactive, right? What you're going to do instead of reacting on a specific situation, you're going to create ways in order for you to look for a client. And only expert can really go back or can really find someone na pwede nilang maging business partner ulit as a freelancer or virtual assistant. Being expert is knowing the back and forth and knowing how you can showcase yourself to the clients, knowing your value proposition. And this is only possible if you know what service you can provide and if you know what are the skill set that you have. Okay? Being expert is being confident to showcase yourself. Okay. Next, why positioning yourself as an expert is important in a competitive market. This question is really really important to answer because this will be a light for all of us that, oh my gosh, why I am not doing this type of methods in order for me to stand out in freelancing industry or in this market. Because if you're going to focus, if you're going to focus on your expertise, client will notice that. Even how you speak, even how you write your resume, even how you optimize your profile, right? Because I believe clients as of this moment, they're not living on the Jurassic era, right? They're also wise right now. They do background checking, they do check your LinkedIn, they do check your social media, they do check your Instagram, and they're looking if you're really expert on what you're doing, right? So if you're trying to apply as a social media, how could you tell to the client that you are expert if your profile is not really optimized, right? Your name is it's in a Jejemon format, right? Baliktad yung pangalan mo. Right? Kunyari ang pangalan mo ay Aaron, tas ang pangalan mo ay Noraa. 'Di ba? Parang it will not build credibility sa client. So, you have to position yourself as an expert not only on your social media platforms, of course, but also on your freelance marketplace such as Online Jobs PH, such as Upwork, right? And make sure that your link is also optimized because it is one of the contributing factor if the client will gonna hire you, right? And I learned a lot from Mia during her last session on how to optimize your profile. So as someone that was also in the industry, I learned from her that I need to optimize my LinkedIn profile. So with that said, after that session, I updated my headline to make sure that my headline will sound to the client that I am expert the moment that they read my headline. So right now, you can check my LinkedIn, and I'm proud to say that I have a fantastic headline on LinkedIn. And you know what? After I changed that headline, LinkedIn sending me notification that I am appearing as one of the top results for real estate transaction coordinator. So it would really bring changes on your profile as well. Not only on your LinkedIn, you need also to create, optimization of your profile on your social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook. If you're going to check my Instagram and my Facebook page, I have the same bio that I am using. And I believe that this bio will really catch the client's eyes the moment they read my bio. Okay? You put numbers, you put result that you bring on the business on your bio, and then I think that would gonna be like one of the effective ways in order for you to position yourself as an expert. Okay, because again, if you are an expert, it will manifest on your social media platforms. It will manifest across your online profiles, and the moment that the client notice that you are an expert because they notice that you are really good in building your social media, you will build credibility. That credibility will gonna be like a decision making factor to the client to hire you or to proceed with you. So it is really important to optimize your profile as well. Next, defining your niche. So when we say niche, because we don't want to just like go talk about niche and we don't know the, the definition of niche. If you're going to look on a if we're going to define niche on a freelancing terminology or freelancing world or industry, niche is it's just like a specialization of yours as a service provider. So did you ask yourself before you start your freelancing industry, what is your niche? Maybe you're asking yourself, okay, EJ, I don't know what is my niche because I just started my journey as a virtual assistant or as a freelancer. That's totally fine, because as I always preach, or as I always mention to all of my webinars, if you're just starting to to step in freelancing industry or virtual assistant industry, you have to be like a generalist first. Okay, what I'm trying to say is you need to try different type of niche or different type of skills, because when you're trying to if you try different set of niches, if you're trying to work on those niche, you're trying to unleash a different type of skills that sometimes you don't notice that you have, right? And at the same time, when you're trying to being a generalist, you discover the things that you love, and you discover the things that you love to do. And that's the time that you're going to narrow down your niche. Okay. And that's the time that you're going to define your niche. If you're going to become a generalist, this you will discover yourself more, you will discover your skills more. Therefore, that's the time that you will decide what is your niche. What are the things that I love to do on a daily basis? Even though if I am really tired, the next day I would love to do it again. Okay, so make sure that narrow down your skills and services. To first bullet that we have to make sure that we need to focus on is we have to narrow down your skills and services to cater a specific target market. So I mentioned earlier how to narrow down your niche, or how to transition from a generalist to become a specific niche type of job or skills, right? Now, how you can do that? Narrow down. How you can narrow down? You get pen and paper and list down your skills. Okay? And the next thing that you want to do is specialize. You need to target, a specific type of client. How are you gonna do that? You have to question for yourself, what are the skills that I have? Are these skills could really, you know, could really help this type of client? So for example, you have background in social media, you're good in administrative stuff, you have background in marketing. Therefore, you can target different set of clients that who wants to specialize on their, you know, digital marketing, right? Or on their social media. That's how you target a specific target market. Okay? You also have to make sure you need to consider your skills if you're going to target a specific, market. Okay? When we say market, these are the clients that you're going to target. So, for example, you are an executive assistant, you have good in calendar management, you're good in managing inbox, you're good in travel management, and you have an executive presence, and you know to yourself that, you can supply, or you can help, CEOs. Therefore, you can target top, high ticket clients like CEOs, right? Or someone who has a high rank individuals in the market, you can target them. Okay, always remember, as you narrow down your skills, you will also realize who is your client avatar. Okay, when we say client avatar, who is my target client based on my skills and based on the services that I can offer. Next, be clear about what makes you unique in your niche. Okay, again, I will repeat, be clear about what makes you unique in your niche. Sometimes we're trying to become like a jack of all trades, right? We're good in social media, we're good in just like in Facebook ads, we're good in travel management, we're good in a different set of things. But does it make you unique in your niche, right? We have to make sure that we have to be firm and consistent with our branding, or the services that we are offering. You cannot be like a recruiter and the next day you are a financial VA, right? You cannot be a financial VA and then the next 3 days you will gonna be like a social media manager or social media marketer. You cannot be like a financial VA and after 3 days you're gonna be like a user UGC content creator, something like that. You cannot transition from one niche to another. If you want to define your niche, if you want to build your brand as a service provider, you have to make sure that be clear about what makes you unique about your niche. If you're a social media manager who helps, start up business, right? Therefore, focus on that. Okay. Do not just like vibe with a trend. Make sure that you're tapping the correct market and make sure that you are consistent on what you're doing. Next, understand your ideal client and their needs. So I was saying, you need to create your customer avatar or client avatar. You have to make sure that you identify if you are comfortable working with women, if you are comfortable working with men. What is the age group of your target line? Is it 35 to 40, 60 years old? Are you okay working with 25 years old up to 50, something like that? Make sure is you understand their business and their needs, because it is really easy to provide email management services, calendar management services, right? It is pretty easy as long as you know how to use Gmail. You have a good email management skills, right? But the thing is, do you have an understanding? Do you have a background? What is the client business and needs? So you have to make sure that you also conduct a background research if you're going to, target a specific client. Okay? You have to make sure to conduct like a simple check-in with their social media platforms or with their website. The moment that you open Google and put their name or put their industry, Google will give you results what type of client they are, or what type of business they're trying to build. Okay, you have to make sure that you understand your ideal client and their needs, and their needs should match the skill set that you have, because you cannot provide your needs if your current skill set does not match on the needs that they are asking, or the needs that they have on their business. Again, skills and the client needs should match. Okay, you cannot help someone who needs help in social media if you are a financial VA. Yeah, you have a good catch on social media, but I'm trying to say, are you expert in social media? Right? Because again, there are a lot of back and forths in social media. It is not just about, simply posting a post, or simply publishing a post. It's more of that. It's more of trying to understand the behavior of your audience and how you can be able to connect with them. That's social media, right? Next, that's how you define your niche, right? Narrow down your skills, list down, okay? And the moment that you list down your skills, that's the time that you are trying to have some idea what is your specific target market. Real estate agent, CEOs, Amazon, like those people who has a retail store in Amazon, something like that. Next, be clear what you makes you unique on your niche. Be firm and be consistent on your niche that you're going to provide. Next, understand your ideal client and their needs. You have to make sure to create a client avatar, just like your ideal client, right, that you want to work with. Next, this is really important. Building your personal brand. So I was saying earlier, you have to make sure that across your social media platform, when I say across, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, you have the consistent branding. You cannot be like a financial VA on LinkedIn, social media manager in Instagram, then real estate transaction coordinator in Facebook, and then in TikTok you are Amazon VA. That would build confusion. It doesn't, bring uniqueness on your brand, or it doesn't position yourself as an expert on your niche, right? So the first step that you can build in building your personal brand is develop a brand identity that reflects your values and expertise. Okay, brand identity meaning this is how you want to be portrayed, or how you want to be like a look up by your audience or by the client. For example, me, if someone will gonna hear my name, AJ Tycoon VA, they would really easily recognize that I am a real estate virtual assistant. my specialty, my specialization is real estate. That's how you build brand identity. It will speak, so you can build your brand identity by simply building your logos, right? It will evoke on your logos. It will also show on how you present yourself, even in your portfolio, on your bio, on your headline, right? That's how you develop brand identity. And make sure your brand identity is consistent across social media platforms like um, Facebook, Instagram, and other social media platforms. Next is consistency is the key. Create a unified message across all platforms. As I mentioned, if you want to specialize in real estate virtual assistants, it should also it should be visible across all social media platforms. Okay, so just like Mia Juan, when you're going to visit her YouTube channel, her Facebook page, it will just give you, a content about how to become an excellent, or how to become a rock star executive virtual assistant, right? So that's how you create a unified message across the platforms. And again, consistency is the key. It might be cliche, but it is working, people. Okay, consistency is the key. Last 2 weeks, okay, I received a message from my Facebook page, and I'm telling you guys, my Facebook page has only, like, during that time, 800 plus followers. So it is my understanding that it will not really build attraction, or it will not, gain a certain algorithm on Facebook, because I only have a low count of followers. But I was also shocked when someone messaged me on Facebook, on my Facebook page. They are a client, they are from Florida, and they're looking for acquisition manager. And I attended that interview, and I'm really really curious how they were able to find my Facebook page. And they told me that they just searched for a transaction coordinator or real estate virtual assistant, and my name popped up on Facebook. Okay? And I reflect why that happened, right? And I just noticed that I am continuously, talking about real estate on my Facebook, because right now Facebook is not really hashtag, they're not really always looking on the hashtags. They're also looking on the contents that you're going to publish, the words that you are always using. Okay, so always do that. Always be consistent on the message that you want to bring in on your social media. Next, um, next is build trust with your audience through transparency and authenticity. So this is really good, because if you can build trust with your client through transparency and authenticity, you will really captivate their heart, because when they're going to select when they're trying to select a service provider, or let's just say a virtual assistant, on the client perspective, they are not just looking on the skills that you have. Always remember that skills will just follow. But most of the time, they are always looking on the attitude, right? They're always looking on your behavior, how you present yourself, how you use your words, how you deliver your words, right? What is the tone of your voice, how you look like when you attended the interview, how you look like when you're trying to talk to the camera, something like that. So you can build trust with your audience through transparency and authenticity. How? If you want to build transparency, you want to make sure that you're just sharing what you can do on social media. Do not be like a superficial person that you're just sharing good things on your social media. Is it because you want to gain traction? Okay. It will reveal your true personality the moment that you work with them. For example, you're someone, a service provider, that you're trying to portray that you're good in Go High level, that you master the Go High level, you put certification, yada yada. You're trying to talk more about it, but the moment that the client hired you, you cannot execute. So that's transparency. When you say transparency, you should always be sure what you can bring on the table, and you should only reveal to your audience, or to the market, what only you can do. Do not over specialize, okay? Next is authenticity. Okay, authenticity meaning is be who you are. If you're someone who's really jolly, right? It should show up on your interview, right? And use that one as a leverage during the interview. And that's a very good, topic, because when I'm attending an interview, I'm getting a good, feedback because they notice that I have an upbeat attitude during the interview. It seems like I'm trying to kill the boredom inside the call, or the I'm trying to kill the quietness on the call. And they really saw that I'm very sharp when I'm trying to answer questions, right? And I'm just really who I am, right? I am a jolly person, during an interview. So I'm not saying that you need to, crack some joke on the interview. What I'm trying to say is just, if you're the type of person who likes to smile, then do it, right? So there's nothing wrong on being who you are during the client interview. Or there's nothing wrong on being who you are during creating content on your TikTok, right? So that's how you build your personal brand. Next, creating and sharing valuable content. So number one, share insight, tips, and tutorials related to your niche. So one of the ways on how you can position yourself as an expert in your niche is if you can create and share valuable content by sharing insight, tips, and tutorials related to your niche. Because according to this is just like my perspective, and also to my students, who's also, I'm trying to deal with right now, because I'm also a part-time college instructor. They having a hard time to share their insights and their answers when we're doing the recitation. And I am teaching this technique, okay? You use the Feynman technique, okay? I know some people knew this technique. You imagine where you share content, you're just trying to explain it to a 5-year-old kid. And that's how you measure if you really understand what you're doing. If you could be able to explain it on a layman's term, or in a most easiest way to understand, I think that's the time that you can consider yourself as an expert, right? So again, if you're an expert, number one, you can share insights, tips, and tutorials related to your niche. This is only if you're ready to become an expert, okay? But if you're not ready to become an expert, therefore, you can just neglect the first bullet, right? If you just want to be like a normal service provider, then just, you know, be a service provider. But if you want an expert, if you want to position yourself in your audience as an expert, you need to share your insight, tips, and tutorials related to your niche. Okay? Next, use multiple platforms. Yeah, use blogs if you're still using blogs, social media, YouTube, and podcasts. Okay? You can post those content on these various social media platforms. Next, engage with your audience by responding to comments and messages. So this is really important, right? If we have the opportunity to talk with your audience, make sure to talk with them, right? Make sure if there are comments on your Facebook page, make sure to respond at your earliest convenience, right? Because it will also build your response rate on Facebook first and foremost. And second, it will help you to, create a dialogue or a conversation inside your social media platforms where another topic could be open again, right? I'm doing that on TikTok. When someone trying to comment on my TikTok, instead of replying through text, sometimes I'm answering it through video. It's an instant, content that I could share in TikTok. And also, responding to comment and messages will reveal rather your authenticity and your transparency. Authenticity, how authentic you are being an expert or helping one another through your social media, right? But it will depend on your position and your proposition. If you're just someone just who wants to, earn money through Facebook, therefore neglect this one. Because do not be if you're trying to become an expert, you are not really selective, right? Being an expert is not about just looking on the money that you're going to earn. It is about what value you can give on the market or on the table. And again, money will just follow. Okay? Because if you will just respond on a simple comment and messages, it will not cost you single penny or any single amount, right? And you will not mind sharing those help because you believe that you are a lot, you are a much more, you are a bigger person, right? You can do a lot of things, so you don't mind sharing those little things to other people. Next, showcasing testimonials and case studies. So if you're going to become an expert, you have to make sure that you always gather feedbacks from your clients, right? When I say testimonials, it's not only just like a client initiated testimonials. You can also ask client regarding their feedback on your services, and if they provide a good one, you can reveal it to other people. Of course, you don't want to reveal your bad reviews or bad feedback, right? Because you want to build credibility. I'm not saying that you're trying to become like a liar on your audience. It is just that you want to position yourself as someone that who's really good. Of course, you want to focus on the good things that you can do and not on the bad things. Bad things will just be with you, right? Those negative feedback will be the one, you will be the one to deal with that, right? You have to work on those negative things, and those positive things that the client's trying to give to you, post it on your social media. I had a good experience when it comes to testimonials and case studies. I am assisting my client on their onboarding, process, and what I'm doing is I am trying to conduct a call with new agents who's trying to join the team or the brokerage rather. So I had a call with this guy, and then I'm trying to become like a professional one, right? I'm trying to understand that he is a technologically challenged, right? Because he's way too older than me, right? So I understand the frustration, right, while navigating the screen because he's sharing her screen. And I was shocked when my client, sent me a message. Hey, AJ, someone leave a review on my Google review, something like that. So it is really funny because, you know, an agent of my client leave a Google review on my client's Google business profile. The agent, put my name. AJ is blah 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 blah. He is an asset on your team, something like that. So the Google business profile of my client already has already a mark of my name, or has already a mark of my services, or how I do the work with the clients, or with the you know people that we're trying to help. So it is really important to collect testimonials because proven track record will also highlight and will also boost your profile. Okay. Next, create case studies that show the results you've achieved for your clients. When you create case studies, it's just like simply showing the before and after, right? What is the status quo of your client before you join the business? And what is the current, situation of your client as of this moment, the moment that you join the team? It is more about bringing data to the audience, or to the your target market, that you can produce result. That is case study. Next, next, display them on your website and social media channels. Always remember, testimonials and case studies are meant to be displayed on your social media channels. It is meant to be revealed to other people how good you are. Okay? Make sure to do that. AJ, what if I'm just like a virtual assistant who I just started, to venture on this industry? Then letter A, you can look for an internship program and ask for a feedback from your a current supervisor who's trying to guide you on your internship. Letter B, you do pro bono, right? But this is just like if you're someone who's willing to do a pro bono. We say pro bono, you're going to render your service for maybe 2 months or 3 months, and then if they're not happy, they can terminate the contract, and if they're happy, they can proceed. But on the fourth month, they will gonna pay you something like that. So, and then you can ask for testimonial after that. Okay. And if you're trying to attend training, just like on like a paid training, you can ask testimonial from your mentors or from the course creator regarding your performance. So that's how you do the testimonials. And I think certification would also include in testimonials and case studies. But again, um certificates are really not mandatory, but if you have one, please be sure to display them over your website and social media channels. Next is engaging with your community. So if you're going to become an expert, you want to build a community that is really collaborative, that is really supportive, and a community that supports one another. So just like Mia Juan, right? I am just like a member of her community before in EVA. I'm not an EVA. I am a friend of mine of Mia who just want to, just to, engage with their platform. But she influenced me a lot because she positioned herself as an expert in this industry. So she influenced me to create an online course because I have a just like a you know like a low self-esteem regarding on what the things that I can do. But Nia pushed me to become a better person, right? She pushed me to create an online course. I launched it last July, and thankfully, it helped me to to produce money, right? There were times that I produced a lot of money because of my online course, but not only money. I was able to hone individuals who's now surviving and thriving on freelancing industry. If I'm not mistaken, I have someone in my community who's earning like I think 100,000. I'm not sure, okay? But based on my memory, as I read throughout the message, she's earning like potentially 100,000 per week as a service provider to someone, to a real estate virtual assistant, something like that. So potential, okay. I'm not saying it's flat 100. There's a possibility that she can earn because it's just like there she has like a basic compensation plus it's a commission base. So the moment that she is, doing good amount of work, she's also getting compensated. It could really go above, 6 digits in peso, something like that. So what I'm trying to say is, um, if you're an expert, let's try to build a community where we support our community, wherein everybody is welcome, regardless if they are really new, regardless they are really seasoned virtual assistant. Let's welcome them, right? First, participate in industry related groups and discussions. So make sure that you make yourself involved, right? If you're a real estate virtual assistant, make sure to involve yourself with the current trends, with the current, happenings on a real estate field. If you're a social media, make sure to inform yourself what are the current trends and fads right now. Next, collaborate with fellow professionals to increase exposure. This is a good example, right? I am trying to mingle with Mia and she's trying to help to build my profile. So she's my fellow professional and she's trying to increase my exposure because she has the platform and she believed that I'm a good person and I have I have good amount of skills that I could share to other people. We're using each other leverage, right? So she's using my strength in speaking or in educating other people, and her platform will use an as avenue as well to discuss this type of things or this type of topics that would help a lot of current virtual assistant freelancer aspiring virtual assistant. Next, host webinars, workshops, or podcasts to share knowledge. So we're doing this. This is a webinar. So these are the things that you want to do if you want to become like an expert on your field. You have to engage with your community. Letter A, if community of your fellow professionals. Letter B, community of aspirants or community of those, current virtual assistant or same industry people. Okay. Next is investing in continuous learning. Always remember, the moment that you felt that you are really good enough on what you are doing, and the moment that you felt that you don't have to learn anymore, that's the dead zone. Okay? Be careful on what you're trying to feed your mind, and be careful on what you're trying to feed your heart, okay? Because the moment that you realize that you're good enough, you are unbreakable, right? Because you are good enough, you cannot commit mistakes, that's deadly. Always put a room for improvement on your personality, okay? Always be hot, okay? When we say hot, humble, obedient, and teachable. Okay? We always need to be humble on what you are doing. We have to obedient to become obedient if we are trying to assist client, and we have to be teachable. Like Mia and I, even though we are, we're doing, this job for a couple of years, we're always making sure that we learn from one another. Oh, for example, um I'm using ClickUp, right? Mia is good in ClickUp. I will ask her, "Hey Mia, can you help me with ClickUp?" So we're sharing each other's knowledge in order for us to learn. For example, I'm good in Google Classroom. Mia will gonna ask me, AJ, can you help me with the Google Classroom? So we're sharing each other's strength so we can achieve a good milestone as well. So also we want to make sure that you stay updated with the latest trends and best practices in your niche. Do not leave on the, on the old school era. Okay, we want to make sure that we want to practice, the latest trends and best practices in our niche. If you're still someone who's trying to, post manually using Facebook, I mean, please make sure that you inform yourself that we have Meta Business Suite. It's a scheduling tool powered by Facebook or powered by Meta, where you can schedule posts for both Facebook and Instagram, right? So those are the things that I'm trying to explain, are just really basic. So how we can know the latest trends and best practices? First, we need to make sure that we're trying to visit, websites that, would really bring us good information. What else? We follow some Facebook page that would really help us to, know some information about our field, right? So for me, like for example, I'm a transaction coordinator. I'm following the California Association of Realtor and National Association of Realtor, because through those platforms I'm getting info what is really happening on the real estate field, on a real estate market, right? So next, take online courses, attend workshop, and read industry books. So this is really helpful. So if you're an experienced virtual assistant, that's not an endpoint for you not to take free online course. If you still have the opportunity to learn, please do so, okay? Because it will sharpen your skills and it will sharpen your all the services that you can offer. Next, invest in training, certifications, or qualification that enhance your expertise. You may think that attending a conference that would cost you 15,000 pesos is really, it's really expensive, right? And you will not see a return of investment right away the moment that you finish attending that webinar, or let's just say conference. But you're not really investing physically on in a tangible tangible investment. It is intangible investment. Why? Because you're trying to invest on your knowledge, you're trying to invest with your skills, and those skills that you could use to showcase your expertise and your services is really a good weapon, or a good things that you can share, so you can showcase yourself better and you can position yourself as an expert. So don't hesitate to attend conference and webinars if you are capable. Do not just look on the money, and do not look on the material things that you're gonna get on the event. Be intentional in attending conferences. I'm telling you, um there's a big effect if you're going to attend conferences and you know events, because it will open your mind, it will reveal to you, the other perspective that you are not considering before as a freelancer or virtual assistant, right? It will reveal good things, on what you are doing, and you will realize a lot of things. Just like me, Mia and I, we knew each other because of one conference, which is the Likha Summit of 2022. And right now, we're not just like friends, we're treating each other just like siblings, right? So we are to the point that, I knew her mom, I knew her dad, I knew her siblings, even her daughter. We're on that point, right? So you will learn a lot of things if you're going to attend, conferences. And also, I knew a lot of people through attending conferences and, attending trainings, and they are really 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 helpful. Always remember this three bullet points that you have to make sure that you will, put on your pocket or put on your mind as we end the session. Okay, positioning yourself as an expert is essential for career growth, right? If you want to be someone who wants to grow on your career, you have to position yourself as an expert. Do not be just like a yes man, okay? Do not be just like a service provider. Go above and beyond, be an expert on what you're doing. Because if you are an expert, you are an asset to the team. You are also, I think you're also valuable, because if you're an expert and you're trying to provide your service, you can negotiate with good pricing point. You cannot just accept $2 per hour if you're an expert. You will not see $2 as a good amount of money if you're an expert. Perhaps what you're going to do is you're going to look for someone or a client who matches your mission, vision, and your core values as a service provider, who could also pay you on the right amount. Because one thing for sure, you know to yourself that you know what you can bring on the table. That's the first thing. If you know what you can bring on the table, you are an expert, girl. Next, focus on consistent self promotion, building trust, and offering value. So promote yourself. There's nothing wrong in introducing yourself on your social media. It's your own social media, but please make sure, be responsible on the content that you're going to post. Okay. Next is building trust. Continue to connect with other people through your social media, through your content, through engagement, through messages, and through building a community. And next, be offer a value, offer value on your community. Make sure that when people think of you, when people show your platform, they will get a lot of things from you. Next, the last bullet is really important. Take action now. Start building your expert brand today. There's no perfect time to position yourself as an expert or building your brand. It is today. Okay, make sure that after this webinar, you sit down, you get your pen and paper, and start you're realizing, what are the things that I need to improve on my brand, what are the things that I need to do in order for me to position myself as an expert. It is not an overnight work, okay, in order for you to become an expert. Okay, it would take a lot of time to become an expert, but the most important thing is you have to start now. Okay. Next, I think I don't have any, that concludes our session today. So if you have any questions, right, make sure to put it on the comment section. This is our open
Open
mic
phone.
session. Yes, Mia.
I was joking. He said
Ah,
open, I said
okay.
open phone. Masyado ka naman seryoso.
No, hindi kita narinig.
Ah,
So, if you wanna, hindi kita narinig. If you wanna, know more about me, you can also scan this QR code. And also, my socials is in here. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok using the same username as shown on the screen at AJ Tycoon Va. Ganon. AJ Tycoon VA. Yan. So, if you wanna be like a Tycoon virtual assistant, join our team, join my community. I also have Mia also have a community. You can join her community as well. So Mia will gonna post her, I think, socials. You, do you think you can
yeah,
do
I
that?
think Tracy is posting our socials on the comment section. So we have AJ's socials. We have my links so you can check that out. And yep, thank you so much, AJ. But let's see if we do have some questions in our comment
Yeah,
section. I hope
sure.
everybody learned a lot. Let me just go back if merong mga questions. Wala pa naman. Ayan. So kung may mga questions kayo, please do comment then in the comment section before we end our live kasi may mga trabaho pa din kami ni AJ. Very busy ang week namin ahead. So please drop your questions sa comment section. And then please scan this code so that you can be connected to all of AJ's socials. Meron din po siyang online course if you want to enroll in his course. Um, ano pa ba? If ngayon lang kayo, late kayo naka-join, then this recording will be available a few minutes in our Facebook page and this will also be uploaded in our YouTube channel. Um, yes, para sa'yo yan, Chad. Ayun ang tanong niya. Para
Yes,
sa akin
para
daw ba?
sa'yo lahat ng
Yes.
ito. Ganon.
Ayan, if may mga questions kayo, please do drop them sa comment section kasi tayo po ay mag-e-end ng live at exactly 7 p.m.
Yeah, so make
Ayan,
sure you just
question. Ano na nga yung question mo? Go for it. 47? What is your question?
yeah, I think she's one of my follower. He messaged me a while ago and I sent her
Talaga
the
ba?
oo.
Oh,
Ba't ba ako
perfect.
naging English?
Ayan.
Puro English kasi yung explanation natin, no? Very
Consistent
partic
ka nga.
Oo, very particular kasi ako sa audience mo na taga-ibang bansa, bakla. Sakto kagagaling ko lang school, yung mga brain cells ko gumagana-gana pa ng
Gumagana
konti.
pa? Ah, may
Oo.
class ka?
Yes,
Teacher din po si AJ. Si AJ is
teacher-teacheran, eme.
ano, college, no?
College
College.
students. Tas nanonood
College
pala mga estudyante
student.
ko. Sir, kaya pala maaga ka nag-dismiss, may talk ka. Eme.
Ayan. Ano na pong question? Ang tagal ng question ni 47. Kayo, yung mga walang questions dyan, please do follow us if you want to learn more about real estate virtual assistant. Sa akin naman po is executive virtual assistant.
Yes.
Ayan ang question ni Greg. Is it okay? Is it okay to mention on my platforms or CV like no prior experience in real estate industry role but willing to learn in a fast-paced environment? Para
So,
sa akin
ako naman.
hindi. So, pero
Ako din.
go ahead. Oo.
Parehas kami ni Mia, no.
Hindi.
Do not mention. I mean,
Oo.
unless they will gonna ask you na they have prior experience, and that's the time that you wanna say that.
Mm.
That actually I have no experience in real estate industry, but I think my experience on because I know Greg, my experience
Mm.
in on my field as a
Kilala mo
civil
siya?
engineer, yeah, in civil engineer, I think it is somehow related on the position that you're looking for. And no worries, I'm someone who's really team player and I'm always willing to learn something like that. So ganun lang gagawin mo. You just have to position yourself as someone that is always willing to learn, always willing to help them, right?
Oo, huwag kayong maglalagay ng parang mga negative sa resume nyo. Always just highlight kung ano yung alam nyo, ano yung natutunan ninyo, ano yung experiences ninyo. Hindi naman yun doesn't mean na you're lying. Siyempre, resume should always highlight what you're good at, what your expertise are.
Tama.
'Di ba? And then, after that, during the interview, doon na lang papasok yun kapag tinanong sa inyo. Next question. Pwede po ba ako maka-session kahit 5 minutes tungkol lang po sa job offers? Is legit ba or hindi? What do you mean maka-session? You ask na here. Since naka-live naman na tayo, you can ask it here. Next question, balikan ka namin, 40. Sa client, may real estate and clinics businesses. Si client may real estate and clinic businesses. Okay lang po ba ipa-handle niya isang VA both accounts? Niya
Yes.
sa isang VA ang both accounts?
I think it would depend sa relasyon nyo ng virtual assistant. Ay, ng client, sorry. If ang magiging setup naman ay magkahiwala yung bayad niya for real estate business niya and sa clinic businesses niya, I think that's a good, I think a good mutual agreement. Pero if you're going to get compensated hourly, tas dalawang businesses yung focus mo, I think medyo dehado ka doon. Ikaw, Mia.
Pwede naman. Okay din naman yun sa'yo. Sa akin kasi ang tingin ko dyan, as long as you can work within the 8 hours na pinag-usapan nyo. Kasi I'm looking at this as an EA eh. Pag EA kasi,
You
di ba,
do,
Jack and Jill of all trades eh. So kahit anong ipagawa sa'yo ng client mo, as long as pasok dun sa
mm.
working hours mo, you do it. But it's different. We're talking about real estate here. So it's kind of different kasi niche specific eh.
Oo, tsaka depende rin sa bigat, 'di ba? Kung sa clinic businesses magko-calls ka, tapos sa real estate businesses magko-calls ka, alam mo 'yon, baka malito yung kokote mo kung saan ka talaga mag-specialize. Next.
Si Mighty Chad. I have a decade of BPO experience pero inline siya sa travel. Oh, that's nice. If mag-real estate ako, feasible ba for me? Kasi I barely know about it. If my training like sa BPO, baka pa.
Mighty King Chad, yung background mo naman, it will not really hindi siya contributing factor para hindi ka maging isang real estate virtual assistant. As long as you know the basics, right? You know what is residential real estate in US, right? You're good to go, right? Um, I have free training materials on how to become a successful real estate virtual assistant. You can take the free one. If you are not really satisfied sa free, you can go sa paid. Pero to answer your question, yung line of work mo before, hindi naman siya malaking factor. As long as the client would see that you know how to use Gmail, you know how to use Google Calendar, you have background in real estate because you take a training or you conducted your own, research about it, I think you're good to go.
Ang process din dyan, Chad, is alamin mo ano yung ginagawa ng mga real estate VAs. Like, kasi pag real estate, ang daming iba-iba pang sub-niche, di ba, AJ, sa real estate. Like, ikaw, transaction coordinator ka.
Oo, marami kasing
Di ba?
departments. Yeah.
Marami. So,
Oo.
alamin mo, try to figure out what you're interested at in terms of real estate industry. And then, you identify yung tinatawag mong transferable skills from your experience sa travel industry na pwede mong gamitin sa pagiging isang real estate agent.
Mhm.
And that would help you understand the whole role and also would help you highlight ano yung mga skills mo from your previous work experience na kaya mong dalhin together with the new knowledge that you got from your research about the real estate industry. So, ganun
Yeah,
siya.
that's a good point, right?
Yeah.
Sabi ni 47 Mia, gusto ko
ayan.
po, oo.
Paano 5 minutes? Wala kaming mga private sessions. You can try to message both of us ni AJ sa Facebook page namin, and then we'll see if we can get to you, but we can't promise immediately. But this is the reason why nagla-live kami, to be able to give time to everyone. But yeah, just send us a message and we'll see if we can get back to you later.
Yeah.
We have 3 more minutes, so let's get to these 2 more questions. I'm an ESL teacher for almost 10 years. May chance po ba ako if mag-try po ako sa virtual assistant?
Ako, yes. Ang laki
Yes.
ng potential mo if you're an ESL teacher, sobrang konting na lang yan, konting pagpapanday na lang, konting pagsha-sharpen na lang ng skills, you're good to go.
Yep. But alam mo, super funny. I just received a lot of feedback na ang mga, even from the agency that I came from, kapag nakikita nila na ESL teacher, naka-no sa kanila yon. Hindi nila kino-consider that as an experience. And there are a lot of VAs na nagsabi sa akin na ESL teacher sila, tapos nag-a-apply sila sa mga agency, different agencies na hindi daw tinatanggap ang ESL teacher. I really don't understand why. Kasi ang pagiging virtual assistant, actually nagsimula yan sa pagiging ESL teacher, di ba? Parang yan ang unang-unang industry na remote work. Especially during the pandemic, yung pagiging ESL teacher. I think even prior to the pandemic, ang dami na ring mga ESL teacher.
Yes.
But,
I think
diba?
when I was grade 12, I'm trying to apply as an ESL teacher. It starts with the letter A, which ends with the letter C. So, I don't have enough equipment during that time. So, I just step out. But I look up so much with ESL teachers.
Oo, diba? That's why don't let it stop you. If you get to apply in an agency or a VA company na sinasabi hindi namin kino-consider ang ESL teacher as an experience, then loss nila yon. Because being an ESL teacher, especially 10 years na, is an amazing work experience that would definitely prepare you for a role ng VA.
Yep.
Next, let's go to our last question. But quickly answering Chad, yes, there is a recording of this. So our last question from Greg, what is your biggest advice for someone who wants to be a transaction coordinator for the first time?
Okay, so if you want to be like a transaction coordinator, first thing that you need to consider is if you're not going to enroll on my online course, you will have a hard time to find for resources that talks about transaction coordination. I'm telling you, and I'm telling you the truth, that there's no sufficient resources available online that talks about transaction coordinator. or being a transaction coordinator. But my biggest advice is first, yeah, um, look out for the resources that you can find out if on on internet, and then study the real estate in United States. The moment that you understand how real estate in US works, start learning, platforms or tools that the transaction coordinator could use, like DocuSign, SkySlope, something like that. Because being a transaction coordinator, it would be like it would be different process per state, right? So in state of California, it's different. In New York, it's different. In Michigan, it's different. So you just have to make sure that you will learn the fundamentals, such as the real estate in US, and what are the some of the tools that you make sure that you know how to use, right? Some top tools that you want to study first, like DocuSign and SkySlope. That's it.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much, everyone. Dolce, the quick answer to your question, yes. Pwede ka pong ma-hire even if public school teacher. But thank you, everyone, for joining our live. Ayun, ayan. Thank you everyone for joining our live. Ang dami pa rin nating viewers. Thank you AJ for being here.
You're
Sobrang always
welcome.
happy when you are our guest speaker. The community is very happy and very engaged. So if you guys want to watch the recording, this will be available in my Facebook page, AJ's Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. I hope you
Alrighty.
guys follow us and thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Bye, Mia. Thanks so much.
Bye.
See you.
See you. Bye bye.